Let's first reflect on what we have as investments in India. India is base to the second largest developer community for Microsoft. We have over 20,000 people in India outside the US. India is also base to the biggest developer population on GitHub by 2027. Today, the US is number one. The e-Shiksha is a fantastic example of how we are creating inclusive growth and progress. One of the fundamental challenges that we've seen in India is there's great number of graduates. I mean, 1.5 million engineering graduates, but how many of them have the skills and the proficiencies of today? So we're actually creating programs and skills for them to participate in. We have the largest data center footprint in India today, and we're enabling enterprises. I'm not sure if you, being in India for a couple of weeks, you had the chance to fly Indigo. Indigo Airlines, 45% plus market share. Their entire consumer engagement is on a Microsoft Azure AI platform. Equally, there is a startup, and I met this lady who is employed by the startup called Karya. In Nasik, and they're creating content for Marathi as a language. This lady is getting paid 5 times the average minimum wage. So 2 points I'd like to offer here. One is even the smaller languages that do not have enough tokens and content is getting created. But the second is we're going to a village outside Nasik and bringing in women folk who can now earn 5 times the minimum wage.
I want to get back. You've mentioned the word data center several times, right? I want to get back to the big spend out here in Southeast Asia. Malaysia, 2.2 billion, Indonesia, 1.7. Obviously, some of it is going to towards creating more capacity for workers, for training, for upskilling, etc. I would hazard a guess that a lot of it is also going into actual hardware. You mentioned infrastructure, right? And you've had a project going on, Microsoft, that is called project, is it NATIC or NATIC for several years now, right? Which places or sites data centers under the sea. It sounds weird, but it kind of makes sense, right? Real estate under the sea, hey, cheap, or nobody wants it, right? It's cooler down there as well. And if you site it near to, let's say, the shore, where urbanization usually tends to happen, that's a pretty smart move. How much of this CapEx is going towards things like data centers, including underwater?
So our spends continue to expand, Martin. And while we did not pick up Thailand, we also announced a data center in Thailand as well. Over the last 6 months, we've announced about $10 billion across Asia. So we will see a continued momentum in the stack that Satya refers to in data centers. Data centers have 2 broad categories of usage. One will be about how we can allow for the training of the LLMs, and the second is how we allow inferencing on that data center, which is how do you use the LLM to actually create a product, some of the examples I shared with you. The expansion of this investment is very critical to our infrastructure. Satya spoke about this in Malaysia, and he described it as multi-layers. One is the layer of the technology in the hardware. The other is the layer of the software. The third is the layer of the skill. And the fourth is the layer of its application.